Darkness. David had lived a life that seemed perfect. He had a stable job, a loving family, and a warm home. But life doesn't always go according to plan. One day, everything collapsed. The company he worked for went bankrupt, and with it, his job disappeared along with all his hope. Debts piled up, and he couldn't find a way out. His wife, after months of stress and worry, decided to leave him, leaving David to face the destruction of his life alone. David felt as if he was sinking into darkness. Each day passed with him in solitude and despair. He looked into the mirror and couldn't recognize himself anymore, a man who had lost everything he once cherished. Many nights, he lay awake, unsure where to go. Do I even deserve to keep living? He wondered. One stormy night, when David was sitting alone in his dark room, feeling as if all hope had vanished, something strange happened. He heard a whisper in his heart, gentle yet warm, "Do not fear, I am always with you." At first, David thought he was dreaming. He looked around the room, but there was no one. However, he felt a strange sensation in his heart, a peace he had never felt before. He couldn't understand it, but he felt an invisible strength surrounding him. He knelt down, hands on his chest, and began to pray with all his heart. "Lord, I don't know where I am going, but I believe you can help me. Please guide me." After that, David's life began to change. The very next day, when he stepped outside, he unexpectedly met an old friend he had lost touch with for years. This friend, a successful businessman, had heard about David's situation and decided to help. He assisted David in finding a new job and even introduced him to people who could help him resolve his debts. Slowly, David began to stand on his own feet again. But the miracles didn't stop there. Over time, he realized that it was his faith and prayers that had brought him opportunities he had never imagined. One day, on a peaceful morning, David stood on his balcony and gazed at the dawn light. He thought about everything he had gone through, the dark days of despair, but now he saw that he had made it through. He smiled and said, "Thank you, Lord, for never leaving me." David not only regained his job and family, but he also found a stronger faith than ever before. He knew that even though life might be full of challenges, with God's presence, nothing is impossible to overcome. David no longer lived just to survive. He lived with a new purpose, to share his story, reminding others that no matter how alone and hopeless they may feel, God is always beside them if they open their hearts and trust. And so, David became a living testimony to the power of faith. He helped others in the community, sharing the love and guidance of God that he had received. His life had completely changed, and he never forgot that the light of God always shines, even in the darkest times. Meaning of the story. This story emphasizes the power of faith, perseverance, and the presence of God even in the darkest times. David's journey reflects how one can go through immense struggles and face what seems like an insurmountable amount of hardship. However, through his faith in God and his willingness to open his heart, he discovers that help and light are always available, even when it's hard to see. The core message is that God is always with us, guiding and supporting us, even when we feel completely alone or lost. The story encourages us to trust in God's plan and know that no matter how difficult life gets, there's always a way through the darkness if we stay faithful and keep seeking his guidance. It also highlights the importance of helping others, as David's own journey of recovery becomes intertwined with the kindness and support he receives from his friends, demonstrating that faith is not only about personal healing, but also about being a light for others. Ultimately, this story is about hope, redemption, and the belief that no situation is beyond God's reach. It calls on us to trust in his presence and have the courage to ask for his help when we need it most.